It's
Hey, what's
good,
going on,
man.
man?
Good. I like this sideways format. That's kind of cool to do it that way, I think.
It's kind of better, right? Because you can sort of like crop it up nice and put it in a video.
Yeah,
It's gonna look good.
yeah, I feel it. That's good, man. So,
What's
here
going
we
on?
are, man. Been
Huh?
waiting on this. I've been waiting on this.
I know, right? Me too, man. Me too. I've been waiting on it for so long, man. I'm like, yo, when is the day coming so we can just get this started and talk properly as promised? So here it is, man. It's on.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I see we got some people tuned in right now. It's looking
Hey,
nice where you at.
my little sister's in the house. Looks like Chris is in here. Thanks
Ah,
for
whole
joining.
family here.
Yeah, we got a whole family coming.
I got my sister in here too. Oh yeah, a few
All
friends.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so
Hey,
we'll start this up, man. We're gonna start it up. All right.
all
So
right.
what's up, world? And thank you for tuning in to Woke Podcast, episode 5 of Survival During COVID-19. Today we have a new special guest. He goes by the name of Joe Mance. Joe Mance is an Army veteran turned marketing pro, turned entrepreneur and investor. When he's not working on his businesses, he's helping others build their own businesses through training, coaching, and speaking, either on stage or on podcasts like this one. Joe Mans.
That's a heck, that's a heck of an introduction, man. Thanks for that.
we need some music for this right now. We need like some
That's right.
dramatic sound.
Where's the little lights and the walk-in music? I love it. Hey, thank you for that. You're real kind. I appreciate that, man.
No doubt, bro. No doubt, man. So, how are you, man? Good to have you on the show.
Hey, I'm doing good, man. You can see the sun shining, and I'm in good health. I mean, what more could we ask for, right?
Absolutely, man. In a time like this, it's just about being grateful for everything that you got and for being alive.
100%. But you know what else? Even when times aren't like this, we should be grateful, right? We kind of miss that one sometimes, right? I
Yeah,
mean, because
yeah.
it's easy. It's easy,
Absolutely.
like when things are like, I believe this anyway, like when things are tough, when times are hard, like we kind of turn to something, whatever it is you believe in.
Right.
I'm a Christian. I believe in God. So, we kind of turn to God when, when things are tough and we need a hand. But then when things are going good, it's like, look what I did for me. So, like
I
things
know
are
that's right.
cruising. So,
I know
so
that's
yeah,
right.
man, I always try to, when things are tough, I try to remind myself that when they turn back around, I still have the same level of gratitude in those moments as I do, uh,
Absolutely.
when I need help. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. No, it's always good to be grateful, no matter the situation you're in, whether it's like
100%.
great stuff happening or it's bad. You still got to be 100% grateful, man, because it can be gone by any minute.
Yeah, there's good in everything, even the worst
True.
situations. Good come. I mean, think about this, like the economy during COVID, right? And we, as a business owner, when like right after like the shutdowns and all that kind of stuff, like I own one of my businesses is an ad agency,
Right.
and the question was, when do we start reaching back out to clients? When do we, like we don't want to be disrespectful, and it's a very sensitive, and this and that and the other. I'm like, you know what, man?
Absolutely.
We're bringing value. Like we're literally, the reason we're in business is to help people build their business, to help people recover from things like this, to get more customers, to ring their phones or whatever. And I'm like, we got to reach out now. Like, why would we wait? Now we got to do it the right way. We got to be respectful. But think about this for just a second, because I've seen this is during the whole COVID, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
chapter of life, right?
Pandemic thing.
Um, some businesses are thriving and
Right.
others are suffering and going out of business. And so while it's definitely terrible for those who are kind of getting the wrong end of the stick, others are doing well. And so we can't, I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with right now,
Right.
is when your business is doing well, how do you share that joy, that gratitude, and make it publicly known that without disrespecting those who are going through a hard time?
Right.
I don't know. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah. I see that. It's crazy. Like some businesses are doing so well, like you're saying right now, and some are doing very bad. And it's like
Right.
crazy to look at the stock market and see like how well a business is doing and another business is collapsing. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, but this is just a cycle of kind of economy, right? Like You know, Blockbuster went out of business a long time ago. You know, and Radio Shack went out. You know, like those. It's kind of and if you go back to your childhood, and then our parents could go back to their childhood, there's just
absolutely
businesses that aren't around, like fax machine companies probably aren't killing it right now since the internet come along and email and, you know, bandwidth. So, I mean, it's just, I think and you know, I say this with the deepest sympathy for those who are struggling because they're on the, you know, they're facing those struggles right now.
Right.
But I don't think we shouldn't, this is the short of it, right? We shouldn't like really take away the victory from the people who are winning, you know, just because not everybody's winning right now. And I think that's important. We need to celebrate those people and the victories and the wins because they're adapting, they're overcoming, they're thriving in a time where not everybody's thriving. I got a good friend of mine's, you know, Carlos Gill, he's a public speaker. And he's on the public speaking circuit. And he just released his book like October 2019.
The marketing.
And he's supposed to do this whole world speaking tour. And then what?
Yeah.
All the speaking gigs went away. What's he do? He adjusts.
Yeah.
And he adapts. And they start a mask company. And now they're doing well in that. I think that's okay. Yeah, that's good.
You got to maneuver the system sometime. You got to
cheering them on, man. Right.
Maneuver. Right.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. We like that, man. That's the vibe you got to have. The energy you got to keep. You know what I'm saying? Because in a time like this, man, you either, you know, if you're not good at your business or strong enough in the head, man, you're just going to collapse and everything's just going to fall apart. So you want to make sure. Right. So, where's Joe Mans from, man? Tell us about yourself.
Oh, man, that's the toughest question. I'm actually writing my book right now. And one of the titles I was struggling with is, one of the titles I was considering is Where You From? Because that's like one of the hardest questions I've ever have to answer. It's like the one question I would say I ain't afraid of it, but there's not a short answer. You know what I'm saying? Because my father was in the military. He was in the Air Force, and so I was born in England, but I grew up mostly between West Virginia and Florida.
That's crazy.
That's
dope, man. That's dope. Wow. So your pops was in the Army.
He was in the Air Force. I was in the Army, but he was in the Air Force. Yeah, he was at Lake and Heath. And so I was born on Lake and Heath Air Force Base in England.
Do you ever come back out here? Like, do you ever plan to come back out here?
Man, that's one thing I really want to do. I've been kind of waiting till like, you know, I can take a month and just kind of do Europe, the whole thing while I'm over there kind of thing.
That'll be nice.
I want to definitely go back to the village where, you know, my parents lived and the house that we like lived in when I was born and stuff, because I think that'd be cool. I talked to people that like the neighbors my parents had when they were over there, and I stayed in touch with them. They sent me pictures and they said it's kind of cool. It's like a little village, like an old school village with cobblestone streets and you know, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, you know, I could get down with that.
Wow, what's this place called? What's the name?
Suffolk.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
Yeah, so I don't know where it is on a map. I couldn't point it out, but I've got plans to go over there and walk around and check it out, spend some time there, find like a bed and breakfast or something.
For sure. That'll be nice, man. So, as an entrepreneur, man, what advice can you give somebody that's starting up?
Well, it depends what they're starting. I would say this: the number one key. See, a lot of people think entrepreneurship is about taking risk. It's absolutely, in my opinion, in my experience, it's absolutely the opposite of that. It's about minimizing risk, and it's about making smart choices. So if you're thinking about an entrepreneurial venture, I say this: do the research, crunch the numbers, put a plan together. And when you do all that, if it all makes sense, then go ahead and take the leap. Because here's the thing: once you do the work, right? Once you do the research, once you crunch the numbers, and then the only thing between you and taking that leap is fear, then it's always a go. Go jump past the fear, go get in there and get the job done. But do the research, man.
Absolutely.
I can't say, like a buddy of mine, he's like, I couldn't take the risk you take. I'm like, I don't take risk. I mean, there's a little bit. I'm willing to do the shit that other people ain't willing to do.
Right.
For sure, right? Because people get, I think what keeps people from doing that thing sometimes is the fear, the uncertainty of it.
Yeah.
Well, my job as an entrepreneur is to get all the answers to the questions. So at least I can anticipate what the struggle is going to be, like what the obstacles are going to be. And so part of the plan should be, how am I going to maneuver those obstacles? Because they're going to come, right?
That's right.
And so that's the advice I got. Do your research, crunch the numbers, figure it out. And if the only thing standing between you and the jump is fear, jump over the fear, move forward. But have a freaking plan.
Yeah.
You know,
It's always
have
important.
a plan. Yeah, because you know what happens is this: you have an idea, right? And you get excited about the idea, and then let's say you just go do the thing. Like, I want to do the thing, and you start to do the thing, and then what happens is that minute you hit that obstacle that you were not anticipating, it gets heavy. It gets heavy real quick. But if you have a plan, here's the idea, here's how I'm going to get there. That plan will include not only how I'm going to get there, but what obstacles I might have to face along that journey and how I'm going to navigate those obstacles when they arrive. You know, like we're planning a trip in the car. We got our destination, GPS programmed.
Yeah.
We know, and depending on how far we go, we know we're going to have to stop for gas, have to stop for food, we're going to have to stop for bathroom breaks. You plan this stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, my car will go 400 miles before I got to get gas. Okay, I'm going to stop right here and get some gas.
Absolutely.
But then there's also things that you cannot anticipate, which is a car swerving into your lane.
Yeah.
But your experience, right? Your intuition, you know, you got a plan. If somebody swerves in your lane, what you're going to do. So you've anticipated those things you cannot control, but you plan for those you can.
That's right. You always got a plan, man, for everything. Like if you don't plan,
100%.
it's like everything's not going to go too well. So it's very, very important to plan, you know.
And that's what I do. Like, that's what I do right now. And when I'm not working on you mentioned when I'm not working on my businesses, I'm helping other people win in their businesses.
Right.
Oh yeah, I got to read this because I see SWOT. I got to talk about SWOT. It's really important to do a lot of research about marketing your business. Always do a SWOT. Absolutely. I don't know who you are, but I love that because that's part of my workshop. That's part of my training I do. So here's the thing about SWOT. Can I do this? I don't know. You got questions. I don't want to side.
Go ahead. Tell us.
All right, man, because I love this.
Yeah.
SWOT is one of the most important things you can do. But here's the one thing I think people mess up with SWOT. It's great to know what your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats are. Mm-hmm. All great information. What you do with that information is a step where I think a lot of people get held up. Okay, so I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses are internal factors. So here's SWOT 101 for you. Right. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal factors. These are things that you have 100% control over. Mm-hmm. If I have poor time management, I can get better at that. That is a weakness. If I have a lot of money, that's a strength. I have financial resources to pull from. That's internal. External factor. Whoever wins the election is going to determine what happens next with the economy. Completely out of my control. Mm-hmm. I did vote, but the outcome, right, is completely out of my control. So how I position my business to adapt to whatever that result's going to be, one result or the other, that's where we get that threat and opportunity from. It's a threat if, if I'm in, fossil fuels, it's a threat to my business. If one person wins versus the other, and if not, it's an opportunity. And so you got to anticipate that. So you leverage your strengths and your weaknesses against your opportunities and threats, the internals versus the external. If you can fix something that's a weakness, improve it to mitigate threats and leverage opportunities, that's the game. The things you can control, use those things to mitigate the threats and to leverage the opportunities. Do that. Absolutely. Put those things together and make stuff happen.
Wow. 100%. We got Ryan in here on the East. Card.
100%.
Yeah. Got a few people.
Yeah. So that's my SWOT speech right there. If you go to my website, you can book time and we'll get deep into it.
Absolutely.
Because I love SWOT. I wrote a workbook on how to turn your SWOT into, and I actually do a training class on how to turn your SWOT into action items. You can actually walk out of the workshop. I do it as a one-on-one as well, where you can actually walk out of that workshop with 10 things you need to do today to change your business. So it's powerful stuff if it's done right.
That's dope, man. That's dope. It's good to know this, man. So you're also a speaker, a coach, and a digital pioneer. How do you keep the momentum of being focused on doing so many things at once? And how do you balance your family life with that?
Well, first and foremost, you got to start at the end of what you just asked me, and then work our way backwards from there. Because family first, man. Hey, if your stuff is not in order at home, there's no way your head's gonna be in the game at work. Absolutely. Period. Yeah. Zig Ziglar has a quote. He says, "Wherever you are, be there." Yeah. Which is powerful words. A lot of people go to work and they're answering text messages from their spouse or whatever, and checking their Facebook for personal purposes, and they're really not at work because they got one foot at the house and one foot at the job. Right. And then when they get home, they're like, man, I should have been doing that stuff at work. And so they kind of got to catch up on work while they're at home. And so you're never truly anywhere at one time. So that's the balance piece. Wherever you are, be there. If you're at work, communicate with your family. Hey, listen, I have a lot of work to do today. I want to stay focused on that so I don't have to bring my work home today. I'll check in with you at lunch, on my lunch break, and just make sure everything's in order. But if there's an emergency, let me know. So that's that. Wherever you are, be there. That's being present wherever you truly are. That's important.
Yeah, that's very important. Right.
For the balance piece. The other piece is having a good family support system. Like, the entrepreneur life isn't for everybody, and it's not for everybody's spouse. It's not for everybody's. My family's grown up in that. Right. Like, I've always been who I am. So they, they're very supportive. Sometimes they're not happy with what I got to do, but hey, sometimes when you work the mill, you got to work a late shift or pick up a double or whatever. I mean, it's all relative. Yeah. So that's how the family is, and that kind of parlays into how do I stay focused on multiple balls in the air at one time. On that side, it's I don't do all the work in all the businesses. I have teams of people who do the work. Sure. And I take my experience, where when I left the Army and I went to school for marketing, right. And then I started a marketing company. Then I got rid of that when I went to work for McCann Erickson, which is a global ad agency, and I was focused on that for 10 years. And then I come back to the entrepreneur side of things. Number one, it gave me a lot of connections. Number two, it gave me a lot of experience working with big things. And one thing I learned is it's the same on a large scale as it is on a small scale. The principles of marketing and business never change. Right. They scale up, sure. And the burden's a little heavier. There's a lot more zeros involved. The impact could be greater because of the scale, but the principles are absolutely and exactly the same on every scale. So when I learned that, and having built a successful business, right, then I said, well, wait a minute, I've got that figured out. And I do believe this, right? We go through our life experiences, right? So we learn from other people and we learn from our own experience. Mm-hmm. And I like to say that the things that I learn on my own is knowledge. I know the stove is hot because I touched it and my hand is burnt. Right. But if someone comes up to me and says, hey, don't touch the stove, it's hot, that's wisdom. They're sharing the knowledge they gained firsthand with me, and I'm wiser because of it. I'm knowledgeable if I touch the hot stove. I'm wiser because they shared the wisdom. And so I know this, whatever work I do in my life, when I'm gone, that goes with me. Mm-hmm. Whether it's wisdom that somebody shared with me or knowledge I gained firsthand. And when I go, that goes with me. And imagine that I didn't have an opportunity to share that with other people. I've paid the tuition for my life experience. Right. And the way I can get the most value is to share it with other people. Sure. So having started successful businesses, built successful businesses, found a model and a recipe for success, I feel it's just my obligation to share that with other people and help them become successful, help them achieve their dreams. And so that's how I do it. The model is the same. The recipe is the same. Just like the principles are scalable for a big ad agency and a big global client as they are for a local mom and pop, the principles for running an effective business and building an effective business are the same, regardless, if it's one of my businesses or helping someone with theirs.
For sure. Wow, that's awesome, man. That's great knowledge that we're taking in right there. Shouts out to everybody
Thank
that's tuned in right now in the chat. We see y'all. And so as an investor, are you currently investing in any stocks right now?
Yeah, I am not only investing in. I'm in crypto personally. I'm not really great at
Gotta get
trading
on to
myself, but I'm just messing around with it for fun. I had a really tremendous investment opportunity come my way recently, and
okay.
it's in the trading game, but it's somebody else doing the work. So
Nice.
I'm heavily invested there, and then investing in other businesses too. So
Okay.
now remember, investing doesn't have to be cash, right?
Right.
Investing could say, I meet someone, they have a great idea, but they don't have the resources. Maybe they don't have the connections. Maybe they don't have the savvy in an industry. Maybe they don't have the industrial knowledge of that particular category. So maybe that's something I bring. So sometimes it's not even money I invest. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just investing my resources beyond cash to help other people build their business and in exchange for a share of the business. So there's multiple ways to invest.
That's a good point. Because people always think when you're investing, or when they hear the word investment, they think that it's just money, but it doesn't
Right.
always have to be about money. It can just
Right.
some advice, or taking someone from one point to the other point, and then eventually,
Right.
boom, everything is all out. It will lead
Well,
to the
think
money.
about the music industry. That's how it works, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an artist and you have talent, and that money they give you for the record deal is not your money. That's an advance.
Absolutely.
You're borrowing that on the
Yeah.
chance that you could be successful, right? And so, yeah, they're taking a chance on you in many different ways. They're sharing their contacts. That's the trade-off. Their
Absolutely.
resources. You get to use the studio. You get to use their producers. Sometimes you get to use whatever's included in that deal. So it's not just. Yeah, you're right. It's not just about money. It's about people seeing your vision, believing in what you have, and investing whatever they have to offer into that relationship.
Absolutely, man. You was once
Yeah.
very involved in helping undiscovered artists, and you helped them get local gigs, and you also did local promotions. Talk to us a little bit about that, man, and what that was like.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was the time of my life. So when I was in the Army, I was stationed in Hawaii,
Okay.
which at first blush sounds like
Yeah.
amazing. One like, man, yeah, you're in paradise. And yeah, that's true. Very, very true. I mean, I was, but when you're training hard, you don't always get to go to the beach. So
Right.
we train hard, but we play hard too. And it was a heck of a playground. So, towards the end of my time in Hawaii, I think maybe the last year, I got involved with the recreation center on post, and we put on a little show. We flew an artist out from Grand Rapids, Michigan, to headline, and we had a bunch of artists from the barracks. These are fellow soldiers who, was artists in the barracks, man, writing their own stuff, doing the little beat machines and all this, putting on, and we brought them out to open up. We had probably 10 artists open up for this act from Michigan.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, there's some talent
Yeah.
here. And then, so one night I was in Honolulu and I was having dinner with my wife, and it was around like 9 or 10 o'clock, and they start to shut the restaurant down. And I'm looking around, I'm like, why are they? And I asked the manager, why y'all closing so early on a like Friday or Saturday night?
Right.
He's like, well, not much action here after 9 or 10, so we shut it down. I was like, all right. Have you ever thought about like doing like shows like bands and music in here? And he had done that before. The guy is actually in a band, so we did a deal. I said, give me the door, you keep the bar, and I'll pay the artists out of the door.
Right.
And so, I mean, but these are hip hop artists, right? And you know how it is, like when you're listening to an artist that you've never heard any of their music before,
Right.
like 10 minutes is an eternity.
Yeah.
So what we did is we just stacked up a 3, 5, and 8 minute set.
Yeah.
And we had a DJ all night long, and then we would, once the crowd got moving, then we got the 3 minute set in, and then we did the 5 minute set a little bit later, and then we do the 8 minute set to kind of headline the show. And we packed the house most every time. It's about 150 person room. So, we were doing a little something, and the artists were getting a little bit of compensation. I didn't keep any of the money. I used whatever money I kept, I used it to promote the show. And so,
that's dope.
yeah, man, it was just about the love, really. It's just the love of helping people, helping artists. My art was the marketing and promotions of putting that together.
Yeah,
but then we started to gain a name for ourselves.
okay.
And we're working with the producers, and we got a studio arrangement where anybody who was doing our shows, the studio would give them a show track for free. Like they would put the show track together for them. Remember, they're only 3 to 8 minute show tracks. And usually the artists were doing like compilations. They weren't doing full tracks, obviously. They would do like, maybe a verse and a hook, and then followed by another hook, even from another song or something. Like they would just mix it up just to sample, right?
Wow.
Then we started getting the ear of, like, we were working with radio stations whenever there was a surf contest.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy who put the promos, like the shows together. So the radio station's calling me, and I'm seeing what artists are available. And then we pretty much, anytime a big name came to the island, they give us a call. We had artists that were writing like hip hop rap commercials for Got Milk, like, and doing the surf shows, and then we opened up for Shaggy out there, and then my boy John Woo was out there talking about Full Circle.
Oh yeah,
he was out there. Yeah. I got on the poster the other day. If you go to my IG stories, I think it's my feed. I think it's in there. But I opened up this old boxer clean out the garage, and there's the poster from like 2001 or something. I'm like, that's John Woo. It was crazy. So
I saw that.
Yeah,
that was in your garage, right? And you have this magazine.
Yeah,
John and some other artists and stuff.
Yes, yeah, that's the one, man. So that's what we were doing. And then when I left the Army, I kind of left that behind. But I'm still in touch with most of those artists. We still work together. If you go check out Studio Talk, anybody who's watching, go check out Studio Talk Tuesday nights at 6:30 live on Icon. If you go to studiotalk.show, you can download the Icon app and check us out. Because the guy that does the show with me, Jay, he was one of the artists I worked with out there.
Oh, that's crazy! I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that dude puts out some bangers, man. He's got some good music.
Definitely, man. We're gonna definitely talk about that some more. Don't worry, I got that. Did you ever manage any artists?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the sense of working with them one-on-one, like I would help them. Yeah, I think manage them is probably generous. Anybody who wanted a deal, like I would try to help them, right? So like Jay, for example, man, that was my guy. Like I would do anything.
I could see that you guys vibe and stuff. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, I would do anything for any of those guys that I possibly could.
Right.
Sure. But anyway, I worked with Jay really closely, and we were in the booth, like we were in the studio all the time. We were always laying down tracks, and we were putting demos together. This is what I would do. Check this out. Right. This is what I would do, because I mean, this is what I did. Like when I talk about management, what was I doing for him? I would sit in, like one of my buddies that I worked with, like she had a minivan full of all these hip hop and R&B and rap CDs, and we'd sit in her car at lunchtime and just listen to the music. Right. And this is what I did. This is pro tip for you. I would go through those CDs. This is pro tip from 2000. We ain't got CDs anymore. I'd go through those CDs, and on the back of them or inside the cover, it would give credit to everybody, including the A&R. The A&R is the artist and repertoire. That's the person who's scouting out new talent for the label.
Right.
And I would go through there and I'd write down on a notepad the name of the label and all the A&Rs that I could find in those CDs. And then I would go back to my barracks room and I would do a Yahoo search for the label, and I'd find a phone number, and I called up the label like I knew this guy. I'm like, yeah, this is Joe Mance from Diversity Music Company out here in Hawaii. You got to drop the Hawaii. Like, it's a weird flex, but it worked.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, is John? Yeah, I'm calling for John Smith. Is he in? Yeah, no. And they would put me through. 9 times out of 10, they would put me through. And I would talk to John, because the game there was you could send it to them, right, with their name on it. But if they weren't expecting it, they wouldn't take it.
Right.
They wouldn't, open it up, because they get hundreds of these a day across the desk, hundreds of demos a day across the desk. So I literally did that. I went through the CDs. I wrote down the names of the A&Rs. I called the label and asked for those people by name. And when I got them on the phone, I tell them who I was. I said, I'm working with artists out here. We're working with the radio stations. We're opening up for all these people. And I said, what do I got to do? I said, I know you get a bunch of these a day. What do I got to do to that package so you know it's me?
Right.
About 7 out of 10 times, they would tell me exactly what I needed to do. They would say, oh, don't send it to this address, send it to this one. Or put this red dot on the corner, or that's how I know that I talked to you about it.
Right.
They would always tell me that little trick. And so I think this goes back to entrepreneurship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's having that creative mind. Find the ways, and it would work. You got to find the yes in the situation. You got to go overcome those obstacles, because the big idea might be, I want a record deal with whatever label, right? But if you don't plan for those obstacles, you're never going to be able to overcome them.
For sure.
Now, we never got any big record deals, but we had A&Rs fly out to Hawaii, show up to the shows and watch and speak to our artists and have meals with our artists. So we were working the game. That period of time was only a year and a half of my life, year and a half of my life. So we covered a lot of ground in a little bit of time out there, man. It was so much fun.
That sounds dope, man. It sounds like you had a great time out there, man. Like, that's a real good experience.
Absolutely, 100%. Hey, there's another little hack we did too. Is like, you call a radio station, right, and they don't have your music. Like, if they ain't getting paid to put you in rotation, really, it's hard to get in rotation. So we would take some of that show money and we would go buy 30 and 60-second spots on the radio, and play the music, so we could say we had airplay on the stations. We're like, oh yeah, we got airplay out here on this. Yeah, wow. So that's little hacks, man. Just that's dope, hustling hard.
You know, I don't think the guys that are making music this day, like my generation, I don't think that they know that it was that difficult. Or maybe some know, but not a lot know. Like, that you had to go through all of this back in the day, you know?
It is definitely, I mean, there's still some old heads in the game that, like, if you play the game the way that they're used to it, like, you can make some, you know what I mean? Like, you almost get some quick respect out of it. But yeah, man, it was definitely different than it is now.
Absolutely. What does that say? I used to play my people's music for free when working at the radio station. Oh yeah, I remember. She worked at the radio station.
That's dope, man. I love that. Hey, thank you for the compliment too. That's the only hard part. I'm trying to read sideways right now.
I know. It's like you got to turn your head.
It's cool. It's cool, man. I thank you guys so much for the kind words, though.
Absolutely.
And the input.
So we met on Icon, which is Ja Rule's app, which allows entrepreneurs to get tips while they're streaming live. Would you say this app is the puzzle which is currently missing from social media and which has been waiting to evolve and take over? Icon.
Yeah, there's definitely it's filling some definite gaps in the social media space. The fact that, I mean, think about this, like, live streaming has gone to a whole nother level of demand over the past year and a half, right? For artists to monetize their art is, through live shows aren't really making what they used to make, right? Yeah. So now you've got an entire online audience that's become comfortable with doing things live stream. I don't think that there's any live stream that's going to compare to the feeling of being at a live show.
Right.
But there's two things that happen with this app, with the Icon app. Number one, you can actually have, like, you can become more intimate with the artist, like more connected. Like right now, if you go on Icon, you can go to Ja Rule's profile, click the button, and get a one-on-one with him, one-on-one meeting with him.
Absolutely.
You just got to pay the fee, of course. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
But it provides a platform for the artists to generate revenue that way, but for fans to connect with artists in ways they've never connected before.
Absolutely.
And I think that is a game-changing move. Cameo is that's a really cool concept, but you're not directly working with the artist to this, like, you can have the conversation like you and I are having right now.
Right.
And for some people, that's invaluable. Like, there's no amount of money that is too much for that opportunity to do that, especially if it's somebody that, like, you're a big fan or whatever, or they can help you change your career maybe.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, like, I was on there the other day and there was some guy painting, like Bob Ross style, just painting, doing his thing.
Right.
And I dropped a tip in there. I gave him a $5 tip or $10 tip, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Because like now, like, and it's so easy. It's just so easy. You go in there, you see who's streaming live, what is it they're doing, and then you can send them a tip right there. And the third thing that you can do is you can do a live broadcast open for the masses. Like I could do a workshop.
Yeah.
Or Jock could do a show, or you could put on a show,
Yeah.
and you can charge admission. So you'll see that it's live, but there's a little lock on it. And until you pay the admission, $1, $5, $100, whatever the admission is, you can't see the content until you pay that fee. So it's just like paying to get into to a concert, right? And I think that, like, yeah, there's nothing like that, and it is a game changer. I do believe.
Absolutely. I mean, I was so happy when Jock came out with that. I was like, yo, this is something that the industry has been needing for such a long time, man. We have all these other social media accounts, but this one is so different, man. Like we were able to connect just from there, and it's like it's crazy.
And you and I were able to connect through that. That's how crazy is that? That's the multiple factor that you can't even factor into it.
Absolutely,
that's cool.
Absolutely,
yeah.
What does it say? Let's just see. So too nice, but you did it the smart way. Yeah. I agree. Icon gives the opportunity to artists to connect with their supporters and to be played for creating content. Absolutely. So, Joe, you have a show which runs on there once a week. What day is that? Is that on Tuesday night?
Yeah, that's Tuesday nights at 6:30 Eastern time.
Tuesday night, exactly. So, which is called Studio Talk. Talk to us more about that because the people want to know.
Yeah, so Jay and I, we love music. I don't think I've ever made any money off of music because I just kind of give it away or reinvest it back into like the artists.
Yeah.
So, which I'm totally fine with, and I love it. In fact, here's an example. So, Studio Talk, we're trying to interview folks from all facets of the industry, whether they're producers or models or writers, what you name it,
right.
Art, like musicians, whatever. We want everyone to get represented there because I think that so often the average fan doesn't realize what it takes to put an album together or even put a song together. Sure, it's a little easier now with technology, but I mean, there's still a lot that goes into it, especially for mainstream artists who've made it, right? So we just want to give people a peek behind the curtains at those journeys that each of these individual people in the industry are traveling. Some of them are, more popular than others. Some of them are just people behind the scenes that make things work that the artist couldn't do their job without, right? So I'm going to give that peek behind the curtain. But when it comes to giving and the tip feature that's on the Icon app, we started about, I think, our second or third week, we started asking the audience to tip, but we're not keeping the money. So we asked the guest, what charity or what cause are we working for tonight? That's one of the first questions we ask our guests. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the time that we spend together in the interview, we have the audience is tipping us, and we take that money and give it to the cause that the person we're interviewing wants us to give it to. So it's kind of a cool way to use the pay feature or the tip feature in the app while also working for a cause, man. It's we're not raising tens of thousands of dollars yet, but that would be amazing if we were, because 100% of the money that we receive is going to that cause. The other thing about Studio Talk is we do a segment right at the beginning called Lucky 7.
Okay.
Oh, and if you ain't seen Lucky 7 yet, man, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah. Tell us
right now. So Lucky 7 is this. Jay asks a series of questions, 7 questions, starting with the guest. The guest always gets to go first. And they're just hip hop trivia, pretty much, or music trivia. Okay. And he asks the questions, and it's them versus me. So it's me against the guest. Right. And right now, I think I've won once. My record's like 1-7 right now. Not good. Wow. I'm not winning, but
losing.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You should say. Then one of our guests was late a couple weeks ago for having some technical issues on their end.
I think I tuned
in. And that was when me and John went at it, and he just that dude's like an encyclopedia, man. He's genius in every way. So he annihilated me.
I remember that.
Yeah, lots of fun. But that's Studio Talk. You can go to studiotalk.show. That's our website.
Yeah.
We're trying to populate the event so you can see who's coming, who's going to be our guests for future episodes.
Right.
You can download the Icon app straight from there. Now, Icon is right now strictly on iOS, so if you don't have an iPhone, get one. No, I'm just kidding. It should be. I'm not even an iPhone guy. I am a diehard Android guy, but I had to go out and get an iPhone because of Icon and Clubhouse. Those two places. And I owe you an invite, by the way. Yeah. I saw that you hit me on it. I think you did, right?
Me?
An invite to Clubhouse?
Yeah, I hit you about that. Yeah.
I'll get that to you today.
For sure. Appreciate that.
So
yeah,
that's what's up, man. That's Studio Talk. Me and Cassius J.
Yeah,
you got to
that's dope. That's dope, man. People got to tune into that. Yo, that show be live, man. It be lit. I'll be in there sometimes, and I'll be seeing the guys having fun in there, man, with their guests and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it'll be nice to to tune in sometime.
And if you're an artist, here's the thing: if you're an artist or you're in the industry, promoter, manager, whatever, doesn't matter. Go to the if you go to studiotalk.show, you can fill out the form, and Jay reviews every one of those. He'll reach back out to you, and see where you might fit into the interview schedule. I think we're a few weeks out right now, so get in line if you want to get in there.
What did I say?
Clubhouse is amazing. If anybody needs an invite, let me know. I'm with you. It's so addicting, though. Clubhouse is like, you're going to get addicted, man.
Absolutely. I had a few issues when I was trying to get on because I got a UK number. So I tried to get on. My boy was trying to add me on, and I wasn't able to get in. But I saw some people over here with that. Like, I seen them with the Clubhouse app and stuff. So I'm like, how did they get in? And I'm unable to get in. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wonder if you get like a Google number or something like that. That's like a US number. I don't know.
Maybe I can do that for sure. Maybe I can do that.
I have no idea.
For sure. So what is Joe Man's major in? What do you major
in? In college?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I got out of the Army, I just started a community college, man. Now, mind you, before I went to the Army, I dropped out of high school after 9th grade, so I had like a 9th grade education.
Wow.
And so then I got my GED, and I went to the Army. And when I left the Army, here I am, like, what am I gonna do now? So I was very fortunate to have the GI Bill, which helped me get through a little bit of school. So I got my associate degree in direct marketing.
Nice.
And my undergrad, my bachelor's degree is in marketing, and my master's degree is marketing and communications.
Absolutely.
So I went from GED to master's degree in like 5 years.
That's crazy. Hey, anything can happen in that short period of time. Like, you'll be surprised, man. Yeah. Like, things can just. I'm thinking of doing my master's right now because I've just got my management of music, entertainment, theater, and events degree. So I'm just thinking whether to go to the master's stage or maybe stay here for a little bit. But I got some time to think about it, so I'm gonna think about it for sure.
Yeah, man. You know what? The thing is like, and I never discourage, like, follow your dreams. I think that for me anyway, I decided not to go for my doctoral degree, and only reason is I'm like, I look at my education as an investment opportunity. Am I going to return a greater investment because I've earned this thing versus if I didn't? And for me, that was a no. I'm like, nah, there's really nothing to gain. I'm writing my book anyway. My book doesn't, like, to sell my book won't require a doctoral in anything. It's not about marketing. And even if it were, screw it. I know enough. You know, I have a lot of, like, not like, I got more. I learned more on the streets.
Right.
But I do believe in formal education. I really do. People misconstrue that, and they think that, you know, because I say that, like, I don't believe it. This is what I do know. This is how my journey began for college and then into my career. When I left the Army and I started looking at jobs, like, I basically, this is all I did. I got out of the Army. I'm like, all right, now what? And I started looking on monster.com at keywords that I thought would be kind of fun. Marketing. I already been in the music stuff. Like, maybe I'll do some marketing, music industry, or take what I was doing in Hawaii and make that a real career. And I started searching through there, and I found out marketing and business jobs kind of suit me. Like I'm reading a job description in my head. I'm trying to envision myself doing this all day, every day for the rest of my life. And then I ended up just kind of saying marketing is the gig. If I get a marketing degree, then I can do all, I make the money I want to make doing the thing I think I'm going to enjoy doing. And you can get business jobs with a marketing degree, but you can't necessarily get a marketing job with a business degree. So
Sure.
that was a little thing I did there. And then here's what happened. I said, well, if I need a 4-year degree and 2 years of 2 years of experience to get the job that I really want to get when I get out of school, then two things need to happen. I need to get a 6-year education, so I'll be super competitive, because listen, that thing on your resume is not going to get you the job.
Absolutely.
It may get you the interview, right?
Yeah.
When I get in there, I'm going to walk out and you're going to say, I'd be a damn fool not to hire that guy.
Absolutely.
That's my job.
Absolutely.
I got to do that.
That
paper gets me to the interview, and that's all I need to do. I need to elevate on paper myself above everybody else in the stack of resumes, which means I also need to have more than 2 years experience. And that's how I started my marketing company while I was in college. I went out to local owner-operated businesses my second semester of college, and I said, hey, look, I'm a marketing student. I'm only in my second year right now, or my second semester right now.
Right.
I don't really know a lot about this, but I think I'm pretty good at it. I'm going to be good at it. You're a flower shop. You're a jewelry maker, whatever. I said, let me take the marketing burden off of you. And what I'll do is if you share the information about your business, I'll put it in my case studies for my schoolwork. My professor will give us feedback, and you got a free marketing consultant. I don't want any money.
That's smart.
I don't want any money.
That's smart.
Because I'm gaining experience, right? That I can put on my resume as years of experience.
Absolutely.
And so I did that. And then I got in, and Joe, the jeweler, says, hey, Joe, since I've been working with you, two things have happened. I've been able to do more jewelry because I haven't had to do the marketing stuff you're doing. And there's more jewelry to do because my sales are going up.
Ooh, that's smart.
Clutch. Man, clutch. So then what happens is his neighbor starts asking how much I'll charge them to do what I'm doing for him. And that's how I started getting paid to do marketing. I was in my third semester of college trying to figure out what marketing really was. And so by the time I finished, in fact, I was in getting ready to start my last semester of grad school when I had the opportunity to go to work for McCann. And so I got rid of all my clients, and I moved on down to Fort Knox, Kentucky, started working with McCann on the Army business.
That's dope. That's dope, man.
Yeah. So it all came full circle, man. But yeah, key point for me was I wanted a 6-year degree.
Right.
And I went and hustled to get that experience so that I could have those years of experience. So now I've got 5 years experience and a 6-year degree for a job that I applied for that required a 4-year degree and 2 to 3 years experience. It's about setting yourself apart from the competition, getting in there and proving that they would be an absolute fool to do business with anybody else but you.
Yo, that's really dope, man. It's a good story, man, because, a lot of us are newly graduates, and it's just crazy because you feel like once you've graduated, you got to go straight into the jobs and into the industry, but it's not that easy. You have to get the skills and build it up, and then eventually go out there, because it's not as easy as it seems,
That's right.
Yeah.
Competition, relationship building, networking, all those things. Man, when I was in college, I was like, I don't know if you've read Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights, but it's like I'm reading my own damn story, man. It was crazy because he was going to film school and he would leave class to go to auditions or to go work on a set or to do something. That's what I was doing in college. I would leave, like I would skip class because I have a client meeting to do the thing that I'm learning to do in class. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I didn't even fund my way, but I worked my way into an New York Ad Week credential, and I left a week of school. I told my professor, I'm like, look, I've got a credential for Ad Week. I'm going to learn more there in a week than I've learned this whole semester. No disrespect. Absolutely. He's like, just come back and give a presentation, and you're excused for the whole week. I came back, I gave a presentation, and I got an A in the class. I mean,
that's dope.
You got to think outside the classroom, man. Think outside the textbooks, especially in marketing, business, entrepreneurship. This is what we're learning to do. So go freaking do it, right? Don't just talk about it. Do it. Make shit happen.
You got to just do it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
Make it happen for sure. So, as a speaker and a person that's always been on the scene, has the pandemic impacted you in any way? We're in this crazy pandemic right now, and your job pretty much involves being out there with people, being a people's person, speaking, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided at the end of 2019 that 2020 would be the year that I level up my speaking game, and I started booking gigs, and I booked a bunch of speaking engagements. Not the
Nice.
year to start speaking, not the year to elevate your speaking career. 2020 was not the year to do that.
Right.
But I did it, and then all of the gigs got canceled, of course, like most speakers do, or did last year. So then I said, well, again, you've kind of heard some of my stories. By the way, everybody, thank you for your kind words, Shane, and I mean everybody, awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that's tuned in right now. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
So you've heard my stories of hustle, grind, think outside the box, go do stuff that everybody's scared to do. Like that's just kind of the story of my life, and that's just that's what I did. Like I'd plan for the obstacles. Remember?
Yeah.
My plan was to be a speaker, level up my speaking game, which filters into my other businesses. Right? If I'm on stage, I'm a thought leader now, and all of those different. I get to share my stories. People are like, I think I could connect with Joe. So if I need a mentor.
Right.
That would be a valuable investment of my time and money to have Joe be my mentor, right? Like, because you have to share your story for people to say, hey, I like that guy or don't like that guy. There's rarely anybody in between with me. Like they either love me or they hate me. So there's not like, oh, he's kind of okay. It's like, no, that guy's too much for me, or this is exactly awesome stuff. So I just had to adjust my game, and thankfully, someone else thought that was a good idea, and it came out with Clubhouse. So that's helped me get back into the networking world a lot. I mean, and I love it because two things have happened. I would go 2019. I must have went to 15 conferences, probably or more. And I listen to the speakers because I get to be a student again. Right. And then I go to the networking events afterwards. That's how I make. That's how I expand my network. Meet people like you. Like I would, you're somebody I would have met in one of those rooms, but those rooms are gone because those events are gone. And now I have an opportunity to do that again. And but I don't have to get on a plane to do it.
Absolutely. That's the crazy thing. It's so dope.
Like, right.
We should get things going, get business going, stuff like this, get on the podcast show. And it's crazy, man.
Absolutely. So that was my adjustment, man. That was that's how I had to adjust to the speaking game last year. And it's podcasts, it's interviews, it's doing a live and bringing somebody over to my live when I do it, right? That's the way it goes. Getting on Icon, that's another way to do it. We created an entire, look at that, to the point. We created an entire talk show every week. Committed.
Absolutely.
Every Thursday morning. Yeah, every Thursday morning I do Word of the Week with my business partner. Roy Browning. So I've got two shows every week that are different. They're different types for different people. So go to joemans.com. You can find links to both of those shows.
Yeah, man. So we got a question over here. It says, do you think you could do your job without the degree you obtained?
Okay. So the short answer to that is yes, you can do marketing without a college degree.
Right.
Yeah, I believe you can. I was doing marketing without a degree. This is the number one thing I learned in college was how to learn. I learned how to learn. I practiced learning.
Right.
Which enabled me I did learn a lot of stuff too, right? I learned about SWOT. I learned about, some principles. I learned about fundamentals, all things that if you're dedicated enough, you could go learn on your own. But college kind of structured it in a way that I was able to, it gave me order and it gave me structure to my learning, which is something I needed. Okay. I would have not got an interview for the job that I wanted to go work for a big ad agency. That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
I would not have gotten that job without my degree. So I couldn't have done that job without the degree because I couldn't have got the interview. Right. But yeah, I think that I learned how to learn and I learned the fundamentals. I can tell you this for a fact that just because you have a degree does not mean you have an education. I walked across the stage with a bunch of knuckleheads that we did not walk out of that building with the same education. I was a student of my craft. I still am. I obsess over my craft. I love marketing. I love solving marketing problems. I love consulting clients and helping them find solutions. I love when a client brings a solution to me that I didn't think of. It makes me smarter. I get to be a student of my craft through working with people who are students of the craft, right? It's so cool. So I think that there's absolute value in continued education, however you get it. LinkedIn learning courses, YouTube videos, mentorship with somebody. Do what works for you. But for me, I'm better at my job because of my master's degree. I'm better at my job because of the professors that mentored me through my journey of college and university. So I can do my job better than I could without it. But yeah, you don't need an education to be able to do a job. But I think that you have to be, you have to master your craft and always be a student.
Absolutely. That's crazy because when I was about 20 years old, I had a little confusion. I was like, man, should I go back to school? Should I, go to university, college, or should I not do that? I actually made my decision the very last minute when you process everything. Like all the paperwork was sent off, and I was like, no, I want to go to university. I want to go to college. And it was crazy, man, because they had to just fit me in there and give me a space. And I was lucky to get in. But I really think that for me, I think that school has very much helped me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the street stuff, but I also know now how to talk and different situations. If I'm in a different sort of room and I got to speak in a certain type of way, I can do that. You can sort of adjust and adapt to different circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was just getting the habit of learning, right? Learning how to learn and getting the habit of learning. Practicing it over and over for 5 years got me, practicing it. So it made me it gave me a different respect and appreciation for mastering my craft. You can definitely, and I don't care if you're self-educated or formally educated through a university, you can tell the people who master the craft and those who don't. I mean, we've all seen the people.
That's true.
This is what I say. There's a difference between having 10 years of experience and having 1 year's experience that you rode for 10 years.
Absolutely.
Big difference in those two things. The same is true with education, man. You learn it from a book, graduate the university, and then you ride that for the rest of your life. And especially in our industry, and marketing. Are you kidding me? Like marketing today, I went back and looked at one of my old internet marketing. It was one of the first classes I took in college.
Right.
That's so cute. It ain't even the same, man. Like nothing.
That's because you gotta tweak it. You gotta change it around, man, because you can't keep it the same all the time. Like marketing, especially, I think you gotta always adjust and adapt to different, circumstances. It's always coming up different.
But don't overcomplicate it because the principles are always the same. That's the thing we got to remember. Like we want to, and this is one of the things I teach in my workshop too, or one of my workshops is that, we're like for some reason intuitively drawn to tactical marketing versus strategic marketing, right? We're like, oh, because the tactics people sell us the tactics, like, or, I want to see my ad on a TV or on a billboard. I want to see my face on the billboard, or it makes me feel good when I drive down the street and I see that billboard. Guess what? Not everybody's paying attention to that billboard the way you would.
True.
So let's determine who your target audience is, what it is that they need, where it is they consume the media, what message resonates with them that would call them to action, all those kinds of things. And when you understand your audience and what moves them, how to solve, the problem, or maybe they don't even know they have the problem that they need to solve that you can solve for them. That's where you go. You go where the audience is, and you deliver a message using a vehicle, a message that's going to move them using a vehicle that's going to reach them. That's the key.
100%. Let me just see what the comments say here.
Absolutely. Objectives first. Yes, thank you.
All the time you need to keep yourself updated. Think about the objectives and stuff before. Absolutely.
That's the very first thing you do.
Huh?
Yeah, that's the very first thing. And every one of whether we're doing SWAT, whether we're doing the writing workshops, everything we do, we start with an objective. When we're doing our planning through our coaching, like I don't do just like pay me every month to talk to you coaching. Like we do an immersion session day one. We define your objectives and then we work backwards. We turn SMART goals on their head, man. Like
Nice.
we ball it up, throw it out the window, and redefine SMART for you.
Reform everything.
Because think about this, like you've heard of SMART goals, like I think most people kind of have, but
Yeah.
but some of those things, like attainable is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
And what's attainable for me and you, and how we're going to attain, like all those different things. You have to dig deep into that stuff and find out if you can do those things. Anyway, that's the point. But you always have to start with what the heck do I want to accomplish? What is the net result at the end that I want to achieve? That's the objectives. That's the best advice that's come out of this podcast. Between anything I've said, that's better than anything I've said. You've got to start with objectives, 100%. You got to know where you're going. It's where you can program GPS.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure, man. I did a bit of marketing actually in college, so I did a module on marketing. So I was like, it really helped me out a lot, bro. It really opened up my mind and made me understand things a little better because I wasn't really focusing on the marketing part. But then after learning about it, it opened up. It makes your mind expand,
That's fun too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, maybe I'm sick in the head like that, but I love it.
Yeah. So, what's a day like for Joe Mans? Do you plan before the day, or do you just let the day go? And
I have. Yeah, no, I mean it depends on which day, but I do have my things that I absolutely do every day. One of the things that I do every single day, I start my day with prayer. That's the number one thing. Because look, I need help every day. Like we don't know what we're going to encounter, but we got to get right in order to know how to address those things. The next thing I do, like when I get to my desk it's important to do this before I turn on my computer because if not, I get lost in email land and it's all over. But I write down on paper the one thing or 5 things, whatever it is that I need to accomplish today to know that I won. Because we've all been there where we've done a lot of work today and we're exhausted and we're like tired and beat down. We're like, I don't feel like I accomplished anything. Yeah. Like we've all had those days. So I got tired of those days and I said, from now on, even if it's one thing, if I get this thing done, I know I'm going to get pulled into meetings and Zoom calls and emails and something's broken. I got to fix it. That's going to happen.
Right.
It happens. But I don't care if it's 7:00 at night and all that's happened all day. I look at that paper and I make a conscious choice. Did I get this done? And if the answer is no, I make a conscious choice to say, this is the first thing I'm doing tomorrow, or I'm going to do this before I leave so I know today was a success. It's okay sometimes to say, I'll do it tomorrow. That's fine. As long as you make the conscious choice and don't leave that building feeling like a failure or feeling like you didn't accomplish something.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. That's the one thing I do.
That's important.
And then everything else is I live and die by my calendar, man. If it ain't on my calendar, it ain't happening. Usually. And there's a lot on the calendar.
It's very important to start the day off right, man. Like, seems like you've got it, man. Because if you don't start the day off right, it means you're just gonna have a bad day. So you want to make sure that's in,
There's definitely a good chance of it going sideways if you don't have a plan, right?
Absolutely.
Like I said, those are the 2 things. Once you can say, when I leave, I'm going to do this before I leave the office.
Yeah.
Then all you got, it might be something stupid. Oh, I got to send this picture over to this guy. Right. Something simple that you just kind of think about this.
Right.
It's a really easy thing to do. So the easy things are hard because we're like, I'll just get to that. It's only going to take a minute. Mm-hmm. But then all these other things eat at your ankles all day long. And next thing you know, you're on the drive home. Man, I done all this work, tired. I had a hard day. And I didn't even do that one thing. And then that's why it's important to write it down and keep that right there in front of you. Because at the end of it, you're like, well, at least I sent Frank that picture that he needed. Something like that. So
you gotta do it.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
That's my day, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yep.
What books does Joe Mans read?
Joe Mans don't read books.
Ooh. Okay.
Yep. Joe Mans don't read books. Audible is my friend. Audible is my friend.
Okay. Also, you listen.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I've tried to read. I don't know that I've ever finished a book cover to cover.
Wow.
I don't think I ever have. I skipped through some. I started one book, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've done some John Maxwell books, the little ones like in study groups and stuff like that. But I fall asleep. If I get the kind of time where I'm going to sit down and read a book, like I'm out real quick. So, but Audible's my friend. Like I'll turn it on while I'm doing emails. I'll listen to it, or like when I was traveling on airplanes and things like that. So some of my favorite books, I'll tell you, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's my number one.
Okay.
Number one. Anything About Leadership by John Maxwell is go-to for me.
He's a good author.
He's incredible. Incredible human being too, by the way.
Absolutely. I've listened to him. Yeah.
Let's see. Green Lights is my new favorite by Matthew McConaughey. That's my dude right there, man. Love all his stuff.
No.
Let's see what else. 7 Habits. Oh, Hillbilly Elegy. So if we're getting out of the business sector and going to like life stuff, Hillbilly Elegy is it's daggone maybe a mirror of my life, or at least my childhood anyway. Wow. Really great story, and the author, this is memoirs that he's written, but the author is actually from the same part of West Virginia where I grew up, or at least nearby.
Right.
He's from the Kentucky side, but it's right across the river. So that's it. Yes, 7 Habits. Anything by Zig. Anything by John Maxwell.
Zig Ziglar.
Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and then Hillbilly Elegy.
Absolutely. That's dope, man. So we got a question here. What advice would you give to someone starting a new business? Ooh.
I think circumstances, provide context, but planning is number one. Do your research.
Yeah.
It's because it's hard, especially if you have, another job, right? So if you have a full-time job and you're trying to side hustle and grow that into a job, it's hard to know when. If you're going to be a solopreneur, you're building a business by yourself, doing it by yourself. There's a lot of things to consider. You're going to be the accountant. You're going to be the janitor. You're going to be all the things, right? You're going to be the manager, the human resources, accounting, all those different things. So if you love making jewelry and you want to open a jewelry shop, you have to account for the fact that you're not going to be making jewelry 8 or 10 hours a day. You're going to be running a business. So that's something I think a lot of people, when they get into business, they don't consider. And that's a really important fact, because if you love, like if you're a welder and you love welding, don't leave your welding job to start a welding company, because now you're going to do less welding, at least at first, until you can scale, because now you're running a business. But if you love business and you're starting a business, then you're probably going to be in a pretty good spot. But do your research. Make sure you have the financial resources to carry you through hard times. Absolutely. Number one reason businesses fail is because they don't have enough financial backing to get them through hard times. I think most businesses fail in the first 5 years, I believe it is. I'm not saying you have to have 5 years of funds, but know how you're going to fund the business for at least 5 years before you pull the trigger. And just maintain good relationships. Always remember, like, it's hard, man, when you got customers and like they're like, it's easy to treat them like they're your enemy sometimes, right? They're always trying to work you over or something like that. But we often want to operate by the golden rule, which is treat others how you want to be treated. And I say treat customers how they want to be treated, and that's treating customers how they want to be treated will get you a lot farther, a lot faster, because you got to understand their needs. And then also, like, don't compromise don't compromise with your clients. Like, set your standard for what a good customer looks like, right? There's clients I won't take on because they're not a core values fit. I don't want my client to mistreat my team because there's a core values mismatch there. If they're not going to respect my team, that's going to bring the morale down in my office, and that's going to ripple through my entire business. What kind of leader am I if I don't have the courage to tell a client, hey, as a leader, I don't speak to my clients like that, and as a leader, I won't allow to my team like that, and as a leader, I won't allow you to do it either. I've actually, not that I'm proud of it, but I've actually had to disengage relationships with clients because of that very thing. So, especially when you're small, like, and starting out, you're like, I'll do whatever for any client. I'll take any money I can get because I'm hungry. But don't compromise your values. Set your core values and don't compromise those for anything. That's important.
For sure.
Hopefully that helps answer the question.
This is a lot of jewels being dropped here, man. I think people in the chat are gonna take some notes, and everybody else is gonna listen to this after. There's a lot of things to take notes on. So, it's a lot of great stuff you're saying right there, man.
Absolutely.
You need
it's better to keep your loyal ones. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, cost of acquisition is the greatest cost of running a business.
Yeah.
So you do have to take care. They say 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers. That's a fact. The math never lies on that. Identify. I mean, not to disagree with the comment, because I think the spirit of it's the same. Is I think you treat all your clients the same. The minute you cherry pick who your favorite clients are, your favorite customers are, and then you start to neglect the client who's just trying you out, right? If they're just giving you, like in the advertising business, they're just giving you a small budget to see what it's like to work with you. They're maybe not the most, and this, it's different than loyal, but maybe they haven't had an opportunity to show their loyalty or whatever. Listen, if we're doing a giveaway client, a charity for a nonprofit, pro bono work, I want to treat those clients as the same as my highest paying client. That's just about being a good human being and operating with integrity in everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Joe Mans, you've dropped a lot of knowledge in here, man. My whole family's tuned in. That's my mama right there. She's saying, great share, thank you. And
thanks, mama.
Everybody's here, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Joe, where can people find you on social media, man? They gotta reach out to you. I know you charge for some sessions sometimes because you're a speaker, and there's so many other things that you do. So people gotta reach out to you because this information is not all free.
Yeah, no, the information's there. I mean, if you go to joemans.com, joemanns.com, or joe.marketing, takes you to the same place. You can read a little bit about me. It's got all my social links on there.
Right.
Facebook, it's, Facebook, Instagram, all that. Instagram is my most active platform. That's where I spend most of my time. I DM more than I email, really. So, and that's joemans1, or you can click somewhere in here and find me probably. That's Joe Mans One. So give me a follow on Instagram. Appreciate that. But if you want to schedule time with me, I'll do a 30-minute consult with anybody. You can book that on my website, joemans.com. You can book that right on my website. In my 30-minute consult, it's really more of a, let's spend some time to get to know each other. What is your problem that you need to solve? Hey, if you can solve it in that 30-minute call, beautiful. I love that. That's the easy one, right? That's a slam dunk. That's me being able to give back and add value to other people. If you see value in it and you got a problem that I can help you solve that's larger, if you want to put a plan together for your business or your life even, right? It's just about achieving objectives overall. We could schedule those sessions if you need training or online speaking engagements. These things here, I'm glad to do as many podcasts as anybody wants. Just hit me up, shoot me an email, shoot me a message, and happy to connect with anybody.
Wow, that's dope, man. So, we appreciate you for being on Woke Podcast, man. Episode 5 of Survival During COVID-19, because I know it's been a little hard for some people, and it's been not so hard. It's been an advantage to be in this pandemic and excel during business. And for someone like you, man, it's an honor to have you on here, man. We're happy for that. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, that means a lot to me. I'm so grateful for your kind words, your kindness in general, having me on your show, allowing me to share my story. I'll share my story with anybody I can, but man, I'm just so grateful for this. Let's see, begin watching this. Oh, it's Devin. What's up, Dev?
Amazing episode.
Yeah. All right, yeah, man. But thank you so much for having me. Amazing episode, so interesting. Hey, thank you, and thank you for so many great comments and such great valuable input. I
Nice,
think you had as much value as I did here.
nice background.
Hey, thank you so much. If you go follow at Joe Mans, you won't get me. But it's Joe Mans one if you're trying to follow me on Instagram. Put the number one behind it. Somebody got to it before I did.
Yeah,
There's more than one of me out there, but there's only one real me.
It's only one Joe.
You got it, man.
Hey, it looks nice.
Devin!
It looks nice over there.
What's that?
Man. You got the sun and everything.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect it to come behind me. I don't think you're gonna even see my face anymore. So,
All right, man. Well, we gonna let you do your thing, man. We won't hold you no more, man. We appreciate you for being on, bro.
hey, it's my pleasure. Thank you again. Hey, everybody who watched and commented and said so many nice things. Thank you, and yeah, be blessed.
Absolutely, man. Take care, man. I'm gonna hit you up. Okay, stay safe.
All right, see you.
All
Thanks.
right, peace.